Today we discuss about the oxidation and reduction reactions. Okay, so oxidation reduction generally is a combination of reactions. Okay, first we see what is oxidation and then what is reduction. So here oxidation means so we can define the oxidation reaction in different terms. So if a substance gains oxygen, if substance, element, whatever, if a chemical species gains oxygen, it may be 1 gauge to 2 gauge to 3 gauge, whatever it is. If it gains oxygen, that will be treated as oxidation. Okay. Or in other terms, we can say if an element or a chemical species loses hydrogen is also known as oxidation. And even one more definition is there. If an element loses electrons, is also treated as its oxidation. Okay, say X is a substance or a chemical species. If X gains electrons, we simply said X is oxidized. Okay, so if the substance X loses hydrogen atoms, it also treated as X is oxidized. Means X undergoes oxidation. We simply say X is oxidized. Next, in this, if X is an element, if it loses electrons, even we can say the element X is oxidized. Okay, so for reduction, it is exactly opposite. Okay, so for reduction, it is exactly opposite. Now we see what is reduction. So afterwards I will give the perfect definition. First you have to understand the terms. So reduction means if a substance or element, whatever it is, if a chemical species gains hydrogen, or if a substance loses oxygen atoms, loses oxygen, or if an element, so element దగ్గరికి వచ్చేసరికి we discuss about the electrons. If an element gains electron, that will be treated as a reduction. For example, take a chemical species X. If X gains hydrogen, we said X is reduced. The reaction means reduction reaction. We say X is reduced. If X loses oxygen, so then also we said X is reduced. It is a reduction reaction. If X is an element, if it gains electrons, we say X is reduced. Okay, so these are the difference between the oxidation and reduction. Here important thing, the oxidation reduction generally simultaneously takes place. Okay, for example, one loses oxidation means one gains oxygen means some other should be loses oxygen. If one loses hydrogen, the other will gains that hydrogen. means generally in maximum reactions, oxidation, reduction both or takes place simultaneously. Maximum type of reactions, 99% of the reactions, oxidation and reduction both simultaneously takes place. In maximum reactions, oxidation and reduction both takes place simultaneously. If in a reaction both oxidation reduction takes place, they combinedly known as reduction oxidation. Simply say it is as redox reactions. If a reaction having both processes, oxidation and reduction, are called redox reactions. Redox reactions. Okay, so redox reactions, this indicates reduction, this indicates oxidation. Okay, next other important thing, so other very important thing here is oxidant. Oxidant or is generally known as oxidizing agent. Okay, agent means which makes oxidation. Excuse me. See here, so if x oxidize avvalante, if x wants to be oxidized, if x wants to be oxidized, it must gain oxygens. Okay, one choice, it must gain oxygens. Oxygen gain cheyalante some other species should be there which provides that oxygen. Okay, some other species should be there which provides oxygen. For example, if x wants to oxidize, what is the other chance? It should lose hydrogen atoms. So hydrogen atom lose avvalante there must be other species which is ready to take that hydrogens, which must be ready there to take that hydrogen atoms. Next, other choice. So if 3 avvalante any one of them, okay, if 3 lo any one of them aina that will be oxidized. X loses electrons. Just losing electrons is not a simple method. Losing electrons unte there must be other species which is ready to take that electrons. ఇప్పుడు ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ వదిలేయాలంటే అక్కడ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేసేది ఉండాలి. హైడ్రోజన్స్ లూజ్ అవ్వాలంటే హైడ్రోజన్ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేసేది ఉండాలి. ఆక్సిజన్స్ గెయిన్ అవ్వాలంటే ఆక్సిజన్ డొనేట్ చేసేది ఉండాలి. ఓకే, అంటే ఇది ఆక్సిజన్ అవ్వడానికి సమ్ స్పీసీస్ షుడ్ బి దేర్ టు హెల్ప్ ఇట్. Some species should be there to help a compound or a substance for its oxidation. So that is known as oxidant or oxidizing agent. Generally agent means who helps us. Who helps us is called agent. Here oxidizing agent means it helps a substance for oxidation. Okay, so oxidation avvadaniki help chesedanni emanta oxidizing agent antam or oxidant antam. Okay, so afterwards we read the definition. Next, again here reductant. Reductant, nothing but general word is reducing agent. Reducing agents, again same explanation. If x wants to reduce, if x reduce అవ్వాలంటే దానికి చాయిస్ ఏంటిది? గెయిన్ ఆఫ్ హైడ్రోజన్స్ అవ్వాలి. గెయినింగ్ ఆఫ్ హైడ్రోజన్ అవ్వాలంటే there must be another species which is ready to donate that hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen gain cheyalante other species should be there to donate that hydrogens. And other choice, X can lose oxygen atoms, so there must be atoms, there must be species should take that oxygens. Next, so X oxidate అవ్వడానికి ఇంకో చాయిస్. X gains electrons gain చేస్తే it is reduced. ఓకే, రెడ్యూస్ అవ్వడానికి X రెడ్యూస్ అవ్వడానికి it must gain electrons. But how it gains electron? Some other species should be there which ready to donate the electrons. అంటే అక్కడ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ డొనేట్ చేయడానికి ఏదో ఒకటి రెడీగా ఉండాలి. ఓకే, there only reduction takes place. Means there must be some species to help it. ఇది రెడ్యూస్ అవ్వడానికి ఏదో ఒక స్పీసీస్ హెల్ప్ చేయాలి. That is called reducing agent or reductant. Okay, generally you see the oxidation, reductant are having same definitions. Okay, ఇప్పుడు ఏదైతే ఆక్సిడేషన్లో ఇన్వాల్వ్ అవుతుందో దట్ వర్క్స్ యాజ్ అ గుడ్ రిడక్టాంట్. ఏదైతే రిడక్షన్లో ఇన్వాల్వ్ అవుతుందో దట్ ఈస్ ద బెస్ట్ ఆక్సిడైజింగ్ ఏజెంట్. ఓకే, సో గెయిన్స్ ఆక్సిజన్స్ అన్నప్పుడు కంపల్సరీ ఏంటిది? యాక్చువల్గా ఇట్ లూజెస్ ఆక్సిజన్, ఇట్ గెయిన్స్ ఆక్సిజన్. మీన్స్ దీనికి ఇది హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది. ఇది లూజెస్ ఆక్సిజన్ అవ్వాలంటే పక్కన ఎస్పీస్ ఉండాలి, గెయినింగ్ ఉండాలి. సో అంటే రిడక్షన్ అవ్వడానికి ఆక్సిడేషన్ అయ్యే కాంపౌండ్ హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇక్కడ ఇట్ లూజెస్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఎప్పుడు లూజెస్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ అవుతుంది? పక్కన గెయినింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఉండాలి కదా. సో గెయినింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ అండ్ బోత్ హెల్ప్స్ టు ఈచ్ అదర్, బోత్ స్పీసీస్. అంటే ఆక్సిడేషన్లో ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయింది ఆటోమేటిక్గా రిడక్షన్ కూడా హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, మీన్స్ విచ్ ఈజ్ ఆక్సిడైజ్డ్. సో ఏది ఆక్సిడైజ్ అయిందో అది పక్కదాన్ని రెడ్యూస్ చేస్తుంది, ఏది రిడక్షన్ అయిందో అది పక్కదాన్ని ఆక్సిడైజ్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎక్స్ ఈజ్ ఆక్సిడైజ్డ్. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ ఎక్స్ ఆక్సిడైజ్ అయిందంటే ఇది ఎలా వర్క్ చేస్తుంది? ఇట్ హెల్ప్స్ ద రిడక్షన్. ఎక్స్ ఈజ్ ఆక్సిడైజ్డ్, నథింగ్ బట్ ఎక్స్ ఈజ్ a reductant. Same, if X is reduced, X reduced and then by itself, it works as a oxidant. Okay, అది రెడ్యూస్ అవుతే పక్కదాన్ని ఆక్సిడేషన్ చేస్తుంది, అది ఆక్సిడైజ్ అవుతే పక్కదాన్ని రెడ్యూస్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఇస్ అబౌట్ ఆక్సిడేషన్ అండ్ రిడక్షన్. సో ఐ గివ్ ద డెఫినేషన్స్ పర్ఫెక్ట్లీ నౌ. So now take the notes perfectly. So it's very important to write the proper notes. Okay. Can now see the definition for reduction. Okay, so which is exactly opposite to the oxidation. Okay, now discuss these terms with an example. And we know that if a oxidation takes place, there is compulsory reduction also takes place. Okay, means oxidation, reduction both takes simultaneously in a reaction, and that type of reactions are called redox reactions. Okay, now we see the example. So what is the name of this compound? This is O minus 2Cu plus 2. It's a cupric oxide. Cupric oxide, when react with the hydrogen gas, it forming just on heating. Okay, these are experimental conditions given. Okay, Cu plus water. Okay, so this was the given reaction. We need to find which is oxidized, which is oxidant, which is reduced, and which is reductant. So it is a solid gas. Again here the copper solid. Here water formed in the form of steam. So high heating, but it is formed in the form of vapors. Now check which is oxidized and which is reduced. So first check this compound. So here cupric oxide changed to copper. Okay, cupric oxide changed to copper. So it CuO becomes copper and it loses oxygen. It loses oxygen means it is reduced. CuO oxygen loss and the losing of oxygen is called reduction. So therefore here we can say that here we can write about CuO now. Okay, one by one we see it. Here CuO is changed to which species? Copper. CuO copper ga change etla by losing its oxygen. So any oxygen losing it doesn't matter. If it loses at least one oxygen, we can say it is reduced. Okay, so here CuO is reduced as it is changed to copper by losing oxygen atoms. By losing oxygen. It's okay now. Okay, here CuO becomes CuO becomes Cu. Oxygen loss n. So simply it is reduced. It is reduced. Next see what about this H2. Okay, say this is H2. H2 becomes H2O. So H2 becomes H2O means this hydrogen gains the oxygen. This hydrogen gains the oxygen. So gaining of oxygen is called oxidation. So simply we can write here H2 is oxidized. As why it is called oxidized means as it is changed to H2O by gaining of oxygen. Okay, so by gaining oxygen. Next important thing, which is oxidant, which is reductant. Next, helping agents. Okay, helping reasons. See here the first one. So now I am writing about the oxidant and reductant. So CuO is reduced by losing oxygen. So the oxygen loosened. The oxygen loosened which is took that oxygen. Which took that oxygen? Hydrogen took that oxygen. Okay, the hydrogen actually hydrogen it doesn't loses its oxygen. Okay, CuO నుంచి hydrogen remove that oxygen. Okay, or CuO given it oxygen to the hydrogen. If just think that hydrogen is absent, if hydrogen is not present, CuO is not able to become reduced. CuO reduce avadanik chance ledu. CuO reduce ayindi ante what is the mean? Who helped it? Who took that oxygen given by it? Hydrogen. Therefore here ఇప్పుడు CuO reduce avadanik which is responsible? H2 is responsible. That's why H2 is treated as a reducing agent. Okay. H2 is reducing agent. Simply we can write H2 is reductant. As it gains oxygen. Next, now we see what about oxidant. See, H2 is oxidized. H2 oxygen absorb chesindi, then only it is called H2 gain chesindi oxygen. That's why it is called it is oxidized. So who given the oxygen to it? CuO, cupric oxide given oxygen to it. So that's why cupric oxide helped for hydrogen. Cupric oxide is helped the hydrogen for oxidation. Okay, ఇక్కడ hydrogen oxidation అవ్వడానికి who helped CuO. Therefore we can write CuO is oxidant. As it loses oxygen. ఇక టోటల్ మనకి ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఆక్సిజన్స్ లో ఉంది, బట్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ ఇట్ మే బి ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ హైడ్రోజన్. సో ఎలా ఉండొచ్చు. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ the best example. So here CuO2 Cu it is reduced, oxygen loss in kabatti. H2 to H2O, H2 to H2 oxygen gain in kabatti, that is oxidation or oxidized. So then it is helped to it, so it is reductant. ఇది ఆక్సైడ్ అవ్వడానికి ఇది హెల్ప్ చేసింది, it is oxidant. Okay, means we must observe perfectly which is oxidized and which is reduced. That's very important. In maximum questions it is asked that a reaction is given, so just ask that which is oxidant, which is oxidized, which is reductant and which is reduced. So we need to identify which element or which species is oxidized and reduced. Okay, so write them. Okay, so this was about oxidation and reduction reactions. So now we see we write a definition that is very important, that is redox reactions. Okay, redox reactions. So in the name itself it is the reduction and oxidation, means the reactions in which both takes place, both means reduction and oxidation takes place, are treated as redox reactions. Okay, we can write the reactions in which both oxidation and reduction takes place. Are called redox reactions, okay, which are having both. So generally we know that the oxidation reduction, they takes place simultaneously in the reaction. Just now we see that example, that is here oxidation takes place and reduction takes place in maximum reactions. In maximum reactions, oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously, okay. And we can conclude that a reductant generally undergoes oxidation. So the reductant ante other compounds ను reduce చేస్తుంది. Means itself it is oxide. It's a very important thing. A reductant undergoes oxidation. So other compounds ను oxidize చేస్తుందంటే itself it is reduced. A reductant undergoes oxidation. And a oxidant generally undergoes reduction. Its comparison is very important. Okay, so this was about the oxidation and reduction reactions. You need to perfect in this concept, because the many reactions are there. We need to compare which is oxidized and which is reduced, and which is oxidizing agent and which is reducing agent. Okay, tomorrow we see some more examples.